Okay, so for the more advanced piece that I'm gonna experiment with and show you guys what to do, I'm gonna show you how to make a rose. This is one that had a pretty fervent request for how to make it. A bunch of people said that they thought that that might be an interesting one to attempt, and I agree. I think that it's a really beautiful one when you get it to come together. So to start with, to tell you right now, I'm making mine using cyan, blue, and black, and I used about a lentil-sized piece of each piece of clay. So if you know how big peas are, think of half the size of a pea. Lentil is what I go with because that's a really good small size and you can already see how much clay you're getting out of it. Some other examples to think of as far as size might be like 4 grains of rice or a peppercorn if you like to cook. Either way, we are just using a few different colors here. I want to make kind of a marbled effect with mine, so that's why I chose these 3, because I thought that they would look nice together. It might not really work, but we'll find out. So I'm just gonna keep stretching my clay out back and forth, getting these 3 pieces to kind of come together here as my clay is getting kind of fussy. I might end up giving up and just kind of rolling it in between my hands for that kind of marbled effect, and that works perfectly fine. So here I'm marbling, rolling it. I'm gonna see about, yeah, I actually really like that. So here I just kind of smooshed it out a little bit so they were flat, and then started rolling them and swirling them together. So to start with, to making your rose, you're going to want something to build it on. I'm going to use a toothpick here. You can use a paper clip. And if you see how I made this long little cane or coil, I'm just going to kind of cut off the tip of that because it has a little point. And I'm going to put that point directly onto the tip of my toothpick here. And this is going to be the center of my rosebud. It also gives me a surface to start with. So as I go, I'm just going to kind of pull off a little bit of the clay each time. And I'm going to put it between my fingers and flatten it. And then that is what I'm going to put around the outside edge to become my petals. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more here, and hopefully this will show up. So here I'm grabbing a piece of clay and making it just a little bit more round. And then I'm squeezing it just like so to make that kind of rounded petal kind of idea. And I don't want to mix it too much because, like I said, I want that kind of marbled look. So I'm going to line it up just like so. And there we go. Starting to build up our little flower arrangement here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of clay again, round it up, squeeze between my fingers. I don't want to squeeze it too hard because I don't want my fingerprints in here. In fact, I might even try rolling off my fingerprints with the little pseudo rolling pin. And I'm lining up so I'm just barely on the edge of the previous petal that I've joined. Kind of pinching it on at the bottom. As you go, you'll want to make your petals just a little bit bigger. Oh no, we have a kitty joining us. just so they can wrap around a little bit more and really kind of imitate that rosebud kind of aesthetic. So again, I'm using the rolling pin here to smooth it out and get rid of my fingerprints. I'm peeling up from the bottom so that I can keep that petal flow out from the center. So roses, you'll kind of want to build in a little bit of a spiral pattern. So you want your new petals to stick out from the area where your last petals met. So as you're putting on your new petals, you'll want them to kind of connect the area between the previous petals. I'm going to move my light just a little bit closer. Hopefully this makes it a little clearer. So as I'm going, I'm grabbing slightly larger pieces. I'm keeping my rose in my hand as I'm working just so I don't accidentally smoosh it. Using my rolling pin. Now, as you can see, I'm rolling these a little bit wider than I am tall, just so that they can wrap around. So again, this next one I think needs to go right around here. Going to wrap it up onto the flower. And as I'm going, I'm pinching into the bottom and really making sure that they're coming together at the bottom. This petal might be a little bit too big. We'll see. This one really has some nice marbling in it. So right now my flower is getting really loose on my toothpick. So I'm actually going to squeeze it together at the bottom. I took it off the toothpick and I'm just going to kind of pinch off that extra clay. That can become another petal if I need it to. Flatten this up and stick my toothpick back in here just so it can be a little bit tighter again. I'm going to make just a couple more petals. In fact, I think this is a perfect amount to make 3 more petals left on my initial little coil or cane. So I'm flattening it just a touch. Using my little rolling pin. This one I am going to stretch just a little bit more up and down. I think I'm going to roll it here. Not quite so high up. Because again, we're trying to get that kind of blooming flower look. So we need it to spread up and out. If you have something that you can kind of tack your toothpick, whatever you're working on, into, not a bad idea. Smoothing out on the outer part. So part of the reason why I am keeping you with me through this entire process is because then the finding that you're going to use to be able to attach this is called a screw eye. And I'm going to show you how to insert a screw eye. I think this last one can go right about here. And this will be our little rose petal. And I'm going to, or rose bloom. So I'm going to readjust some of these petals a little bit. Move it around just a touch. Again, I'm going to shore up this bottom so it's not quite so pointy and out there. And I'm trying really hard not to smash these petals that we just spent so much time sculpting. So I'm going to come back in here and lift them apart just a touch. Now, screw eyes. I'm opening up my bag here with my teeth, like some kind of weirdo. You each should have 5 of them in your bags, and they look like this. So these little screw eyes, they have a screw bottom and an eye on the top. I am going to put mine in so that this, once it has a piece on it, will sit out like so that I can put a jump ring on it and this part can be hanging out. You can put it directly into the bottom of this, but then nobody's going to see all your beautiful petal work. So again, using the screw eye, we use this so that there's more surface area between the finding and the polymer clay. Because if you use just a regular eyepiece, you don't get that surface area and it can just slide out. And this, luckily, can be baked into the clay so that it becomes part of it, right? So this is all one piece now. So here is your rose tutorial. We've gone from a little cute cloud to our pretty rose petals. Here we go.